Hi, I'm Chetna Mishra, founder of Mompreneurs India, and I'm back again with another episode of Mompreneur Talks with Dr. Arundhati Hoskeri on children's education and parenting. Now, as parents, we make sure that our children are safe and protected. If they're going out in the sun, we make sure they have applied sunscreen. If they're going to the park, we make sure that they've applied mosquito repellent on their arms and legs and knees. If they're going to ride a cycle, we make sure that they're wearing their helmets. And if they're crossing the road, we've trained them to look left, then right, and then only cross. But what have we done to protect them and to keep them safe from all the bullies, the predators, and inappropriate content online? Let's face it, the internet is here to stay, and almost 80% of our teens are logging to the internet 3 to 4 times a day. With COVID and the easy access to smartphones and laptops, children today are spending almost 6 to 8 hours online. So, as parents, if we have not included CyberSafety as one of the tools in our parenting toolkits, then it's high time we do that now. And that's the subject of our discussion today on Mompreneur Talks. Dr. Arundhati Hoskeri is a certified cybercrime intervention officer, and she's also a volunteer with the ISAC COP Connect. She's here today to share her tips and insights on cybercrime and how we can keep our kids safe when they are online. So let's listen.
Good evening. This is Dr. Arundhati Hoskeri, an educationist. Well, this is my second interaction with you. And last month I spoke about online schooling and how COVID-19 has impacted the entire education system, not just in India, all over the world. But today's talk is something very interesting. It's kind of continuation of last talk, I could say, because it's somewhere very closely connected. So, today I will be talking about cyber safety for children. All right. Actually, we are living in an information age. Anything and everything we want to know is at our fingertips. All the electronic gadgets and internet have been a part and parcel of our life. Technological progress has actually changed the entire world in many ways, I would say, and still continues to do so. It's not a past tense, it's an ongoing process. So, digital innovations have been influencing every aspect of our lives. So, they are providing newer opportunities to connect and also to learn. We have become so dependent on them that we just can't imagine our life without gadgets and internet. Children and young people have shown a greater ability to adapt and adopt to digital devices and innovations, which is really good. Actually, these devices help these everyone, like not just the children or youth, every one of us, for self expression, communication, networking, research, entertainment, and much more. In a way, we could say that internet has enabled our children to become active social agents, the agents for change. Generally, children are often much better with digital technology than their parents and teachers. This is a general belief, and very confident about their skills. This very confidence could be misleading sometimes. They may fail to understand whether the information, what they are seeking on an unfamiliar website is trustworthy or not. How do generally we go in for information? We just type in a search engine and we see the results. So whatever tops the list, we feel, oh, wow, that is authentic. But there is a lot of other things attached to it which children do not understand, obviously, because this rating may be commercially induced. So how much to trust, what information to trust, these children need to understand. So they may not understand how the search terms work. Okay. In a way, whatever information they seek, what I'm trying to say is it could be a kind of misleading. It may not be trustworthy, not all the times, but at least sometimes. Sometimes children may unintentionally and unknowingly invite trouble. So we need to teach our children to be cautious and to be on their guard. The most important thing is kids have to be on their guard. So it is very important for us to know certain things. How aware are we as parents, as teachers, or as adults, or as any member of the family and adults around our children matters the most. So that is why this session. Um, Now, like any gadget you take, whether it is your iPad or iPhone or smartphone or your Kindle, or your, tab, whatever you take, or your laptop or computer, any device or any gadget you take, which I just now said that we get a lot of information, becomes very limited in use until and unless it is connected to internet. So internet is the buzzword that is most important today. Now, what is this internet? See, internet may be considered as a kind of vast network that enables an individual to obtain any kind of information that is available. Like www we type, that is the World Wide Web, is the most used legitimate platforms to navigate, like using popular search engines. This is a main thing that navigates us. So we use certain search engines like it may be Google or it may be Yahoo or it may be Safari or Bing or DuckDuckGo. So many, search engines are there. So actually, this is just the top of iceberg. But there is a lot for us to understand. It is not as easy as it thinks. See, basically, the internet and WWW, they do not respect territorial boundaries. The role of a national law and mechanism is limited in the management of the cyberspace. I'll be talking about it a little detail. See, actually, what happens, most of the servers, okay, all these are like, all our service providers, either they are in Western Europe or in United States, okay, where which is beyond our Indian law. Every country has its own law, national laws, right? So our national laws and our policies will not work in other countries. That is very obvious. But however, the government could block certain internet service providers and keep the children safe. See, actually, the government can also place restriction on internet service providers and with regards to the content deemed illegal or offensive. For example, few communist countries have blocked Google, they have blocked Facebook, they have blocked Twitter, they have blocked Instagram, and even Wikipedia for the past decade or so. But is it possible in India? India, we are a democratic country. You try to do one small thing, there are thousands and millions of people revolting against it and wanting it back and all that. So in a democratic country like India, government actually cannot block the site, or it cannot say like, it cannot put heavy restriction on us. That is another thing. But again, even in those countries where there is a lot of restriction, whatever I spoke is put in, they have that those countries have their own, like service providers or their own stuff. So like thousands of like what you say, they have their own apps like Baidu and WeChat or Vexin or Sogo or So 360. They perform the same functions as though with a very strong dose of censorship. But what I'm trying to say is we cannot completely cut off from internet. Our life will actually come to stand still if we are away from internet. Today, we have forgotten what is it to write a manual letter. So email came in, so we all used to send email to our relatives and friends and all that. Now there is one more step ahead. If people are lazy to write emails also, even official, like leave letters and all that, people send it by WhatsApp. though I hate it, official communication should never be done on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is for your personal connect. But people are becoming so lazy in the sense, they are adapting to newer things. That is fine. So email also is now only when it is necessary or it's very official. Otherwise, people use this WhatsApp and messengers and everything. Leave alone that they are using the shortened form of SMS lingo, you all know, like, that kind of English also is getting spoiled. And now the newer trend is people even feel lazy to type those shortcuts on the WhatsApp. So what they do is they voice record and send. See, this is how we are adapting. I don't know whether to call it a real, good adaptation or bad adaptation. There is nothing like good or bad. It's again your own thought, like your own process, how you think about it. Anyway, so back home India, what is happening is our children are very smart, and also like most of our kids know English. Even if you go to rural areas, they may not be able to articulate and speak very well, but they do understand some English. So, and at least workable knowledge. So they use the search engines to get the information. And now actually, Google enables you to search the terms in your own local language. What else you could ask for? Everybody knows their mother tongue or local language, so they search and they get it. So, what I'm trying, and another thing, what is happening, earlier having a mobile was considered as luxury. Now you go outside. First the pager came, so only the doctors and those who are in emergency services, they would flash pagers and go away. I'm talking of 20, 25 years back. So that used to be considered as very smart. And later, mobiles came. I'm not talking police service and all that. They have walkie talkie. They are a different sector altogether. I'm talking of commoners like us. So then the mobile came. So earlier, mobile also was considered wow, like, he or she has a mobile. But now it has become so cheap. You go, you can get everything, everybody using, even the sweeper on the street and your sabji wala and anda wala, anybody and everybody, you say why it is so. I'm not saying they should not use, because mobiles have become cheaper. That is the affordability. I'm not against anybody's using. Anybody can use the device as long as they are able to buy it. What I'm trying to say is it has become very cheap. So this gives a easy accessibility to all sorts of children. Like it's not just children in elite homes or middle class or upper. No, nothing. There is no class. Like everybody is able to access these gadgets. And also, internet providers also are competing with each other. Internet is made so cheap nowadays that everybody is able to use. Now, why I'm talking all these things is ultimately we cannot stop children from using either gadgets or internet. But children form a very, very vulnerable group, and they often face a lot of problems online. They face online threats and online abuses and exploitation. That is where, like, we need to be completely careful about them. So that is what I'm going to talk today. Actually, um, children may face some kind of cyberbullying. We all know bullying, right? So I don't have to explain what is bullying. As parents and as adults, we know about it. But cyberbullying is more difficult to handle than actual bullying in the schools or among the peers and all. So children face cyberbullying like social exclusion and defamation. Now, you may ask, what for small children and teens? What social seclusion and what defamation? No, please don't say that. Children are very sensitive, especially children in the pre-teens and teens. Once they are 8, 9-year old, that is where they start connecting to their peers. So they are understanding the ways of the world. See, for preteens and teens, their friends and their circle and they become their immediate society other than home. At home, you may keep them completely cozy and you may, like give them a very great feeling. Everything is fine. But they seek approvals, they seek connect, and they seek that bonding with their peers. That is where they are learning to adapt to the newer situations. So I'll just give you a small example. Suppose a child, how social exclusion happens. It's in very simple ways, in very minor ways, it can disturb children. Somebody, like, posts a picture. Let's say a boy posted a picture with a new hairstyle or something. For some reason, others may want to pull his leg or bully him, like, so There are instances where children call up each other and say, so and so has posted a picture, so nobody should like this. There are some negative leaders like this, in every strand. Like they say, don't hit the like and don't comment, just ignore. See, understand one thing, even ignoring by their own peers could be a kind of, a child might start facing, seclusion, like nobody is right. I mean, liking me and I am kept away. So he may feel secluded. Now, what is defamation? People, sometimes children post pictures of their friends and tag them, or he is a liar, she is a liar, and she has no manners. Anything, kids, sometimes they just do it for fun. They do not understand, even the children who are doing, engaging in bullying, they don't understand that it's a very big deal. So they, I mean, this also can disturb them. Then, online sexual abuse, like blackmail and financial exploitation, also is very, very common these days. And online frauds like phishing and hacking, privacy breach, and then online enticement, like, exposure to inappropriate content and sexting and so on, can disturb. Now, one of the worst thing what happens generally with all of us is we are not prepared to believe that my child may get into such trouble. That myth you have to burst. It is not that somebody else's child is getting into it. Why should I bother? Every child is my child. You get into that mode because no child wants to enter into these zones, but automatically sometimes it happens knowingly or unknowingly or by foolish act. That is where awareness among the parents is required, and awareness, I mean, should be given to children. That is what I am trying to say. So actually, we as adults in their life have to inculcate that resilience among children, which needs to be actually nurtured and strengthened in order to empower them for the challenges and opportunities that they may face while using digital technology. The optimal safeguard for children is to facilitate their access to the internet and protect their privacy, and you can encourage self expression, and then ensure that they can recognize potential dangers and also know what to do about them, then how to handle this. See, the problem is we have to keep our children completely aware of what are the dangers and what are the threats. Not directly, don't start sitting and explaining to children, no, this is like this, texting happens, this happened, that. Kids will get scared. How you have to do it is subtly in the form of stories. See, somebody did like this and something it happened, so beta, you be careful, don't get into this. So the first thing is win the confidence or trust of your own child. Don't have the habit of snapping them and shouting them, I knew it would happen. Some mothers, like, it's not because you hate your children or anything, but sometimes you don't know how to handle. So the child comes and says, somebody sent me a dirty message, mama. Immediately don't start shouting, how many times I have told you to keep away from these kids and you are not doing this. Don't do that. Whether it's online or offline, sometimes it may be just a message on their mobile, or while they are surfing, something may come up. Then children will start avoiding any communication with you because you snap them out and you shout them, and you are only like this. How many times I have told, don't go. See, you cannot prevent your child from mingling with any kind of children. Even if they mingle, they should know how to maintain their distance and how to keep away from those things and keep the interaction minimum. That is the thing. So that kind of awareness you need to tell them. So you can't keep them away from gadget, internet at all. So we need to teach our children digital literacy. This is very, very important. So now you may ask, what is digital literacy? Now, digital literacy is nothing. Actually, I would call it one of the important 21st century literacy skills, I would say. So, it is the ability to use digital technology safely, while staying within the boundary or within the bounds of social responsibility. So there are so many terms I used. I said it's a 21st century skill, and then I said you have to keep yourself safe or behave safely and staying within the limits of social responsibility. Now, what is this social responsibility? I'll be just discussing it a bit later. Now, teach your children how to minimize the risk and maximize the benefits. Okay, when it comes to using this digital technology and gadgets. Say, for instance, many students enjoy playing games, or many children enjoy playing games, online games. However, they need to understand the potential risks associated with online gaming and accordingly select the games. So don't encourage your children, buying PlayStation also, like it's become like a fad. 25-30,000 is okay, everybody affords these days. They buy the, I mean, basic PlayStation also. And more than children, I have seen so many adults, mothers and fathers busy playing it. There's nothing wrong, but what kind of games you are playing matters the most. If you're playing games like Road Rash, where everything is killed and this and attacking, so all the games are built like that. So naturally, you start feeding your brain with so much of negativity. One fine day, you may believe that okay, it is okay to whack somebody, it's okay to kill somebody, it's okay to hit somebody else's car, it's okay to hit and run. So this you may not realize, but it enters your brain and enters your mind very, very subtly. So you must be very careful of what kind of games you select, and warn the kids about strangers online, and let them know about what is cyber grooming and how they can be enticed, and make them aware of deep web and dark web also. That is very important. Don't tell very small children like 5 6 years 7 years, they don't understand anything unnecessarily. They might get into they may get scared. I'm talking of pre-teens and teens, so you must make them aware of this. All right. And so I was telling, like, we have to teach them certain things like how to manage the stuff. Social responsibility I was talking about. First thing is, that is actually there is a new term coined now, netiquettes we call them. So you teach your children netiquettes, etiquettes of net or net etiquettes, netiquettes. That's how the word has come now. So first thing is, whatever online communication you are doing, you need to take responsibility. All right. What is taking responsibility? You must be very, very careful of what you are posting online, and also what kind of information you are receiving and what kinds of information you are forwarding. So forwarding the information and post very well after verifying, and if it is trustworthy, if it is true, then only you forward it. Teach your children this. It may be a simple thing, not always a very serious matter. Even somebody blames somebody in the classroom or something. Teach your child, until and unless you come to know the truth, don't forward it to 10 people. You will be subjecting the other child to a lot of humiliation. So these are small things we can tell them. These days, otherwise, I have seen people send WhatsApp messages. Huge write up is there. So, 3 4 lines they read. I'm 100% sure they will not have read if it's a long post, but they will forward it to 10 people just to show how aware they are. And I mean, they think it's a social responsibility to forward. Please don't do that. Every message you need to understand what it is and is it worth reading. If you can't read it, then don't forward it to others. Just delete and finish it. So many messages, everybody sends so many messages. It's not necessary that you read everything. People are foolish, so you can't be another fool with them. All right. So another thing now, what I want to come talk about is like avoid sharing posts. Very strictly warn the children, avoid sharing posts that are offensive and obscene. Actually, that's a legal crime. See, even the adults I see, like forwarding some jokes and what they think as jokes, and sexually oriented jokes, especially. What happens is, as long as you trust a person and that person also reads, laughs, and deletes, that is done. Otherwise, you could be framed into anything. So be very, very careful. That is also an offense. Actually, it comes under the offense, and you will be you could be jailed for that if anybody goes and complains about it. Now, personal information also, you restrict your children not to share too much of information. And sometimes, children come and say, I have a Facebook account, ma'am. I ask the kids, like they are in middle school and high school. I said, you're not even 18. Why you're not even 16 or 18? Why are you having a Facebook account? No, I've done my wrong birth date and I have done. I'm on Instagram also. These days, kids are smarter. So please discourage that. Why they have to be exposed to. See, age restriction is there to understand something. Facebook is not going to monitor every individual. Whatever you post, you take responsibility. That is what I mean by social responsibility. We need to tell children what it means and how they have to go about it. Never create an account for a minor child at all, because you will be exposing them to so many things which may be completely undesirable. Okay. And sometimes what happens is even the parents start oversharing the pictures of their children with the funny hairstyle and tagging them and writing captions and all that. So what happens is this, when the children grow up, this could become a kind of laughable stock among their own peers, and that may upset the child. Actually, we have no right to post the pictures of children without their permission, and with, I mean, nobody takes permission, I understand that, but at least all these kind of things we should not, it should not called embarrassment to our children. That's what I'm trying to say. And also, like, every post contributes to permanent record. See, we may delete the photographs, we may delete the messages, but there is nothing deleted from the web. Everything remains in the cloud. Please remember that. Anytime and every time there is a controversy, every information can be retrieved. So be very careful. So this is the message we have to train our children. Like, be very careful in what you post, and just by deleting it on your app, it's not going to delete forever. It's going to be remaining in the cloud. Okay, and also it is, we always tell our children, keep away from strangers, don't talk to them and all that. Have you ever told your child to keep away from strangers online? See, there are so many people with bad intentions, and they may want to, they may want to harm your children. So first thing what you have to tell is never accept any friend request from unknown people, even if it is your friend's friend. I'm talking even the post-teens, like, even like those who are in grade 11 and 12, those kids also, they also require orientation. Never accept any friends. You have a friend, and his friend or her friend can see the post and they will send a friend request. But that person may not be up to the mark, or his or her intentions may be very bad. So you need to be very careful. So no friendship with strangers. And the best way for small children when they are surfing and when they are using their online classes and everything is put one good antivirus software so that they don't get into any any kind of undesirable zone. And also, what you could do is install Firewall or something like which can control and monitor. And especially if you are having small children, another thing is like there is a child monitoring software available these days. So you can connect it to one of your devices. If father is very busy, you connect it to mother. If mother is very busy, you connect it to father. Otherwise, grandparents are there. Somewhere you connect it, so whatever sites your child visits, whatever he is doing online can be, seen on your laptop or your device. So please do that when the children are small, because unintentionally our kids may get into wrong zones. All right, so let us see some more risks involved in this. Actually, online activities, they provide opportunity for expressing our opinions. This I told already. Okay, and testing attitudes and exploring Asian, identity and social relationships. So, but many of us are tempted to take risks. This also happens, not with children, in general. Then under the, misperception that we are anonymous online. There's nothing called anonymity. Even incognito mode, when you are going and surfing, it is not seen on your device, but if we want, we can track it and see it, like, what kind of sites you have visited or what activity you have done. So sometimes we show weak control of our time also. This is another risk, potential risk. I have seen people, and another thing, Wi-Fi. Some of my friends only, they take pride in telling, no, 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 in my house 24 by 7 Wi-Fi is never shut off. It's not nothing to brag. You have to shut off your Wi-Fi after a certain time. Otherwise, every adult, every child has the habit of surfing on the smartphone till they droop and drop their eyelids and go off to sleep, which is very, very bad. Okay, mentally or disturbing, there may be some disturbing thoughts or whatever kind of things you are doing. And also the radiations are not very good, and even Wi-Fi emits a very high radiation. So you can switch it, use it judiciously when you are required to use, and other time you need not. So you should have a time limit. Actually, you must be disciplined even in checking your messages, constantly going back to a kind of Facebook and Instagram every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes. If you are checking, that shows a kind of social insecurity you have. What you could do is divide, keep a time, evening 6 to 7 I'm going to see the messages. Suppose sometimes some urgent messages and all, you can, I'm not saying that, but otherwise just going to these social apps is, I don't think it is necessary. Like, you, and we have to train our children, and we have to role model. If we are following that, our kids will obey and will follow that. That is the thing. So actually, the expansion of this internet has led to a shift from face to face to a kind of digital communication. See, I know for a fact that even if we are sitting in one room and spouse is sitting in another room, children are in the hall or children are in the other room, people text messages from one room to other. What kind of laziness, what kind of dependency it is, constantly. Like, you will text a message and, is the food ready, may I log off and come? Hey, you shout out and call. See, gradually what is happening is, and we are losing that connectivity of the family, we say, like. And when you are sitting even on the dinner table and having your dinner, so everyone is busy with their devices, and then they are listening to something. What kind of a thing? Like, that is not a family at all. So you have to connect, to talk to each other and ask what happened in their lives, and with the children also. What did you do in school, and how you're feeling today? I mean, that personal touch is going away because of these gadgets. That is another risk, potential risk, I would say. So we need to control that.
Wow, all this information that you've shared with us today, Dr. Arundhati, is like absolutely mind blowing. And I'm sure all our viewers are also finding it very useful. It's amazing to know all these facts on, cyber safety. All right, so now it's time for question and answers, and I'd like to ask you a few questions. Viewers, if you have any questions, you all can ask them too. Just write it in comments, and we'll try to answer them for you. But let's take some of my questions. So, Dr. Arundhati, you spoke about deep web and dark web in your discussion. What's that all about?
All right. See, deep web is a network where data is stored in inaccessible database. It includes all web pages, website, networks, and online communities that are intentionally and unintentionally hidden and cannot be accessed through Google or regular search engine. So basically, this deep web is used for undesirable activities, like hacking and piracy and all those things. Now, what is dark web? Dark web is actually, it is an encrypted network which is available to selective group, and it is not accessible to all again. And this access is through authorization and special software and configuration. Basically, this is a market place for illegal goods, such as drugs and firearms and stolen credit card numbers. And the dark web also is used for other illegal activities.
Thank you. Thank you for answering my question. I also want to ask you about cyber grooming. Now, what is that all about?
All right. See, cyber grooming, actually, sometimes the strangers or even the people who are known, they build emotional connection with children. All right. And the young, and even the young people, like, I mean, first year, second year college goers, so whatever kind, I mean, that vulnerable, I consider everybody children till at least 19, 20, because after 18, legally they are adults, but they are still small, like up to 20 years, that is, that bachpana is always there, like, that childishness, and you are still raw. That's what I would feel. And what happens is, like, there are strangers, as I mentioned, or even people who are known to us, who want to build a kind of emotional connection with these children and young people online, or sometimes it would extend to face after getting to know through online, to gain their trust. And basically, there is a purpose of sexual exploitation or sexual abuse. That is what is there. Now, many children and young people, they start being, like, these groomers have their own ways. They make the children and youth feel very special about that friendship or that relationship is developing between, and they do not understand why they are groomed. So grooming is a way, like, it's not very obvious. It's very subtle, but it has a lot of serious consequences. That is where we need to safeguard our children. So I would conclude my talk with this: be very, very vigilant on your children. Trust your children in the first place. If they encounter any problem online, or anybody is chasing or anything, they get upset about the online communication with their friends or anything. So, like, you should be the first person they would come and tell you, like, mom and dad, the parents are the most important factors in life. They have to go rush to the parents to seek that emotional stability. So, for that, you require emotional connect. Don't just harp and shout at you and scream at your child, or don't even doubt them. If a child comes and says, Mama, I was not wrong, sometimes I agree. Children also manipulate, children also may tell lies, but even if you come to know sometimes the child is manipulating, try to go slow. Instead of harping and screaming and shouting, try to understand the whole situation. Then, when the situation cools down, you can explain to your child, look here, I understand, but somewhere you are also wrong. You can't be saying like that. So there is a way and technique of handling children, because emotionally, as I told, the kids are very small and they still I mean, don't understand what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. So we as adults, we need to take care of our children. So I hope you found this talk very useful, and again, next month we will meet with another interesting topic. Thank you.